So, when we were in Swansea the other day, I received a text message from an unknown number. It said, "This is your literary stalker, Kiss." I was obviously really excited. I replied, "Hi, I have been waiting for this day. Who are you?" And the reply was a beautiful but shy poetrix called Kate. I was obviously really excited now. So I replied, "Well, say hello." And Kate texted back, "Hello." And then I spent the last few days wondering who Kate was. Like, obviously a part of me suspected she was fictional. To my credit, I did think that, as well as really wanting her to exist. And then I got Rhys's number off Nia today, and with great sadness, my Kate turned into this guy. So, anyway, our piece today is about transformations.
So, me stalking Joe was my first idea. But the second idea was when I went into Swansea's free book place, and I got 3 books, which are the classic Lust Chase.
You hold it up. This is Lust Chase.
By Brent Forster, an American soft porn book, 1967. The Face of the Earth by G.H. Dewey, a geology book, and Elites and Society by T.B. Bottomore.
And the idea we had was that we were going to transform them into each other using cut-out methods and sticking words on and scribbling things out to try and transform them into each other. So we're going to start with Rhys. Why don't you read the blurb from Elites and Society, and then I'm going to read Lust Chase, transformed into Us Royal, which is about, anyway, please.
Every society has its elite, from the least developed jungle tribe with its hereditary warrior chiefs to great modern civilizations with their political, industrial and financial power pyramids. The elitists, social theorists, who have examined the workings and societies in terms of their minority elite groups, have had an important influence on modern sociology.
The various remarks from the majority of people become possessive. Any college kindles exquisite memories of slobbering old men who earn money. The college had said that most girls only dream of poverty in the guts of the town. 2 blocks away, the beautiful homes owned by people with money was nothing. To prepare financially for college wasn't modest, though good money would come after 2 years, which was the limit, of course. Then a bigger institution to go on for a degree. A salary and any marriage to an attractive blonde was decent, and who would understand what decency meant? Okay, and now we're going to, I'm going to read the blurb from The Face of the Earth, and Rhys is going to read from his version of it. The young natural science of geomorphology, the study of the form of the ground, is much less forbidding than its name. It is developing fast and already promises to achieve some independence. In this book, a professional geomorphologist tells how this field of knowledge is advancing. It examines some of the hotly disputed problems which have to be solved and discusses the processes by which construction and erosion affect the physical landscape.
Ready from this one, no?
I think so, yeah.
So this is the dirty book turned into geology.
Highway. Contact, electric sparks, darkened, wrapped, moved, yanking. Expertly, a flood, the hollow, slide down to the upper slopes, smooth sweep, like the ends of twin cones. lush sound bubble squeaked and rolled over every curve. Warm thrustings, twin columns, skillful manipulation, climbed the mountains to twine in the hair, ached other tip, explored hands, explored other areas, lobe, flames, urgency, likewise, burst of a million suns.
I'm going to try to do the same, turning this book, Elites and Society, into its geological twin, Sand City. Horizons subsuming Poland and Hungary. The lower strata rise considerably. This view will be divided. The second view is consistent. Neither of these do justice to the diversity and mutability of the countries. Germany and Italy, in the first place, have substantial prominent strata. A very thorough study of the upper concludes that land is intimately connected to form. The middle and lower levels, Mount Burnham, are increasing their position. A special stratum makes up the core. And you're going to continue reading this. Rather than, because this is actually really difficult to turn Elites and Society into a book about geology, Rhys ended up just chopping at it violently with a pair of scissors in a kind of physical representation of the layers of the Earth's crust, which I think he's going to read a little bit more.
Discussion optimum from the upper east, unless we up democratic elves by the prevalent, remain unavoidably specklen and speck the top, and practical to consider additions, the properties, hunties and elites, sufficient rulery, a rich man, merely many liberal thinkers, totally om of heaven, but head ancient and the weren't low, the thinker, counsel, the mimples and the tinting government, he canst inquiry to the can life, constant ways by the support, Karl Mans, eds, correspond, and such lit obby, whack, willfully prof, pivotally, claim citizens are individually prejudiced, and difficult and stand, schumpeter.
Okay, and the last one is Lust Chase. Let's just read the Bird of Lust Chase.
Pose of shame.
She had mixed breaks,
Such as being physically endowed with a lush, voluptuous body.
and a life of hard knocks.
She tried to back the odds.
To have the good life, but fate was against her.
So she rode the easy route of sex.
The erotic satisfaction of eager lust studs
And she could not help enjoying these sex experiences.
in her
Ways
of lust.
Okay, and that
Is coming from this book, The Face of the Earth, which becomes the face of her. So, Chap 1.
Steve Burnett was 2 years older than Brenda, and although he wasn't really a big man, a couple of inches under 6 feet, he was solid, and he was known all around the neighborhood as a quiet fellow who could put up a terrible fight.
A non-specialist, respectable length, systematic and sequential in any country, all the skill of an amateur detective. One of the youngest, cumbrous, freely employed, even at the expense of yeast. In some respects, zoology and archaeology. A large observer, a pioneer. No doubt this partly accounts for the prevailing enthusiasm. Chap 2.
He was a tall, lanky man with a boyish face, which, after a slight hesitation, broke into a friendly smile. She guessed him to be about 30, which she considered rather young for a man teaching philosophy. It seemed to be a field for an older, more experienced person.
Chap 2 laid on the rocks primarily, desirable, doomed to strip off, find the sea, flanks spread, valley bottoms, tends to bone natural types very firmly. Chap 9.
Her family life was nil. Her mother was still a dumb broad, playing every sap for the sucker, and Brenda had a belly full of these same jerks pawing her when they came to visit her drunken mother.
Close up, it is quite obvious that bedding bodies opens the way to destruction, to reveal small resistant formations, hands, belts, the forms of varying strength. 2 reconciliations rode unequal bulk. The well-known tendency of bottoms, circular movement is replaced by movement to and fro. Chap 10 and Chap 11.
Chap 10 and 11. Kin and pew. Erosion cycle. Dominant. Horizontal. Pew is intermittent uplift. About 1,200 feet on each occasion. Chap 14.
Its sex and filth was to be found in almost every corner of the state. Some were untouched by these forces, while others fell into the slime and disappeared.
Plucked, trough, knobs, ogwen, profile flanks, lligwy, summits, carnels, curving gently round to unite with the crystal watershed. Finger wholesale with drumlins, deepened basins, descending bottoms, gouging water, finger valleys athwart, dams, breaches, caps, irregularities, watersheds. East Anglia.